All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about that very specific kind of mental exhaustion we all feel from our digital lives. What it actually is, the kind of hidden reasons it's happening, and, most importantly, a really clear plan to start feeling better.
So, have you ever had one of those days? You feel totally scattered, kind of irritable, and just exhausted, even if you got a full 8 hours of sleep? If you know that brain fog feeling, where even simple things feel like a huge effort, well, you're definitely not alone. It's a really common thing in our always connected world.
And here's a big reason why that feeling is so common. Brace yourself for this number, 144. That's the average number of times people are checking their phones, every single day. But listen, the number itself isn't even the craziest part. It's what each one of those checks does to your brain. Think of it as a micro-interruption. It yanks your focus away from whatever you were doing, and it does that 144 times a day. That's not multitasking. It's just slowly draining your mental battery.
Now, what makes digital burnout so tricky is that, well, you can't see it. It's not like a broken arm. We usually just chalk it up to stress or, just having a bad week. But often, the real source is hiding right there in plain sight.
So, let's do a quick reality check. Does any of this sound familiar? That constant brain fog? Having a super short fuse with the people you care about? Feeling kind of numb or checked out, or just being totally overwhelmed by a normal day? Look, these aren't character flaws. They're just the classic textbook symptoms of being overloaded by our digital world.
So why does this even happen? Why do we feel this pull to check our phones, even when we know it's making us feel drained? Well, the answer isn't about willpower. It's actually all about brain chemistry. So let's pull back the curtain and explore the hidden science that makes our screens so irresistible.
For explorers, okay, this is the secret that drives the whole thing. It's called a dopamine loop. Every time you get a notification, a like, a comment, a text, your brain gets a tiny little hit of a chemical called dopamine. It's the brain's reward for seeking out something new. And that creates this powerful loop that happens without you even thinking about it. You anticipate something, you get the notification, you feel that tiny reward, and then your brain immediately wants another one. It's basically a slot machine in your pocket.
So for settlers, this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say. If you find it almost impossible to focus on one task, or even just to be bored for a few minutes without reaching for your phone, it is not a personal failure. Let me say that again. It's not a weakness. It's your wiring. Your brain is designed to adapt, and it is simply adapted to a world of constant pings and alerts. Just knowing that is a huge first step.
And all of that constant stimulation leads to this thing called cognitive overload. The easiest way to think about it is like the RAM on your computer. Your brain's working memory has a limited capacity, right? When you have way too many tabs open, everything just slows down and gets sluggish. That's exactly what's happening in your head. That exhaustion, that slowness, that's the brain fog we're talking about. Okay, for all you analytical people out there, this chart breaks it down perfectly. You can see the clear cause and effect. On the left, you have the clinical marker, and on the right, the impact it has on your life. So that cognitive fatigue, that leads directly to the brain fog. That pressure to be always on, that creates real anxiety. And the blue light messing with our sleep, that literally damages our ability to form memories. It's all connected.
All right, so that's the problem, and I know it can feel pretty huge and overwhelming. But the good news is we are not powerless here. There is a clear, structured framework for getting out of this cycle. So let's talk about the solution.
And the heart of that solution is a simple but powerful idea: digital boundaries. Now, these aren't about punishing yourself or giving up technology. It's much simpler. Think of them as designing intentional rules to protect your most valuable assets: your time, your focus, and your mental health. For settlers, and here's a super simple, totally doable 3-step plan to get started. First, just assess. You don't have to change anything yet. Just use the tools already on your phone, like screen time, to see where the time is actually going. No judgment, just data. Second, set one clear intention. Not something vague, but a specific rule, like no work email after 6 p.m. And third, create a physical boundary. Making the bedroom a tech-free zone is probably one of the most powerful moves you can make. It's a safe, practical way to start. And it's so important to remember this. The goal here isn't to go live in a cabin in the woods. The real goal is to get back in the driver's seat and use these amazing tools in a way that actually helps you live a better life.
So, setting boundaries, that's like stopping the leak in the boat. But what about repairing the damage that's already been done? How do you actively heal that mental fatigue? Turns out there's a really cool, science-backed way to do it, and it's probably more accessible than you think.
The idea is called attention restoration theory, and the core concept is this. The kind of intense focus we use for work or scrolling, that's a limited resource. It gets used up. To recharge it, we need to switch over to a different kind of attention, one that's totally effortless. For explorers, and this reveals a hidden pattern that's all around us. Digital screens, traffic, ads, those all demand something called hard fascination. They're loud, they're jarring, and they drain our mental energy. But nature offers soft fascination. Think about watching clouds drift by, or leaves moving in the wind. These things hold our attention gently, without us having to try, and that allows our fried attention circuits to finally rest and recover.
So how do you actually do this? It's the easiest thing in the world. Seriously. You could go for a walk in a park, sure, but you could also just stare out a window for 2 minutes. Instead of immediately popping in your earbuds when you have a quiet moment, just listen to the sounds around you. The key is to resist that urge to be productive. Don't try to accomplish anything. Just be. Let your mind wander. That's how it recharges.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. Creating these boundaries and learning how to restore your attention, this isn't just about feeling less tired. It's about what you get back. It's about the quality of life you can unlock.
For strategists, so here's the long-term payoff. The data is clear on this. People who do this report better sleep, less anxiety, more energy. But the real win, the strategic advantage, is this. You get back your focus, your deepest, most valuable resource, and you can finally invest that attention in the things that truly matter to you. Your work, your relationships, your hobbies. That is the real prize.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. As you go about your day, with those 144 potential interruptions just waiting for you, just ask yourself, what in my life is so important, so meaningful, that it has truly earned the incredible gift of my undivided attention?
If this touched your heart, please subscribe, like, and share it with your family. Save this for more meaningful content ahead.